Good morning or good evening or good afternoon, whatever your time zone is based in. This is and we better update this, first meeting of the 2024 VOLTHA TST meeting for the new year. And let's see, we can just dive right down into it. Okay, so just catching up here. Held the TST meeting 2 meetings ago. The last one was canceled for the holiday, so we're just starting to pick back up now for today. So just general announcements. Today is the freeze date for the VOLTHA release. I'm just coming back from vacation, so I'm just trying to catch up on items. Okay, so like starting today, if you do need to make patch submissions and merges to get code into the system, just make sure that they're not feature enhancements, that they're specifically for the 2.12 release going in. A general announcement, if you work on robot unit tests, I found a very nice tool for doing static code analysis on Python logic. And this can be used in addition to the PyFlags and PyLint and the PEP linting tools that we have. I don't have it in the system yet, but it should be pretty easy to add in as a new makefile target if anybody would like to use it. Okay, so for updates, so Mahir sent me a note in Slack. We evidently have a problem going on around the VOLTHA ONOS repository. When changes are submitted, the Jenkins jobs that are running for VOLTHA ONOS are running into a problem right now. Mahir reported problems retrieving Docker images. There was a problem starting the cluster. A whole bunch of stuff going on. I've got to go look into that this morning. If you look into the ticket VOL 4746, I actually started looking into this before vacation. One of the problems that were showing up with a job I ran 311 is there was a report of, if I can find it, that a certificate had expired on one of the machines. I don't know if this is related to the other problems that are going on, but it certainly is suspect. This certificate has to be pretty low level too, because it was showing up during that apt-get call, which is the system package manager for Debian and a few other distributions. So that could easily be causing the remote problems and the retrieving Docker images and packages and things like that. But that problem is going on right now. Peripheral. There was also a failure reported for my 311 job in the collect artifacts phase of the job. What was strange, errors were reported, but that phase did not fail early. We continued on doing processing. So it looks like we need to also make part of this job aware of failures when they occur and fail immediately rather than allowing processing to continue. So status update on the new VGC pipelines. This goes back, I think, 3 weeks. So at the time, we needed to update as a basic dependency, update the version of Golang that's being used. We were targeting 1.17.10, I believe. And we need to get that in to be able to use the new features in the GVC package. So just an update to date for the ticket and for 2 of the patches that were submitted. Patch 34868, which will update the config files that we use to construct the Docker image from. These have not been reviewed yet, and they were uploaded on December 12th. I don't think we're going to be able to do, hopefully things will change over the next week, but I don't think we're going to be able to do the VGC release for VOLTHA 2.12 until these patches and the other dependent patches get into the system. They need to be reviewed and merged, or we can't do any work with them.
Yeah, on that, Joey, I checked the patches. And things I'm not too much familiar with that Docker images, whatever is being run there.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll check once again. But if anyone who is aware of that pipelines and all, if
Okay.
they can have a look, then probably it could be helpful. I'll check meanwhile from my side as well.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And two, this is just a general offer. If anybody would like to do code reviews, but they may not be familiar with the language, Docker, Python, whoops, gonna run away. Video camera. Yeah, if you're not familiar with Python, C++, Java, whatever, feel free to ask for. I'd be willing to do an interactive code review with people if that would be helpful. Make files definitely. Yeah, Groovy scripts, Java. It doesn't matter what language. I'd be more than happy to go through an interactive code review if that would be helpful to people. Okay, so and I think these must be new that Mahir had added on. So we have lists now of open patches and open tasks that are for v2.12. My name's on a few of these too. I'm going to be going through and inventorying them. Something I found that was kind of amusing, the query that was constructed to pull the patches in, my name is being left off the patch list, so I must have too much stuff in there and it's cluttering the results. But yeah, I'll go through and try and clean up the build system patches and things that I have. So for open tasks, the VGC was one of them. I'll just go through these quick unless people have something that would like to specifically walk through. Okay. So for the BBSim patch, or for this one ticket, 5239, there's some latent linting failures that are showing up in the BBSim repository. This one actually caused a job failure. I think there was a version string problem with Volta Protos, maybe. There is a patch in the queue. I've just got to go dig it up, make sure it's been reviewed and merge that in, and that should take care of this one. In general, what I've done to trigger these, I'll check out code from the repositories, and I go through these steps often when we're doing the release. So I'll check out a clean copy of the repository. I'll go through and make cosmetic changes in the code, maybe adding comments or adding a period, adding a period to an end of a sentence, just something completely benign, unrelated to the code changes. Submit those patches. Oh, yeah, copyright notice date, updating the copyright notice date as well. Submit those patches. So I'm literally not changing anything in the code. So when we run those cosmetic patches through Jenkins, if any problems are reported, they're obviously not related to the code changes or most of the time, but there's signs that something may have snuck into the system and it's causing, they're basically problems that need to be fixed prior to release. But this was one of those patches. A cosmetic change caused linting failures to show up, so we have to fix the linting failures, and that's what that patch was doing. For Turk Telecom workflow configurations on Berlin Pod 2, Mahir is not going to be joining us today. He'll be gone until I think the 4th. Does anybody have any updates on the Berlin Pod configs for testing? Avoiding conflicts with Pod 1. It sounds like 2 of the pods are sharing configs. They must have a conflict. Okay. If there's no updates, we'll keep going then. VOLTHA docs, bulk repair, broken. Oh, I mentioned this. There's another patch in the queue for this one. This problem was caused in VOLTHA docs because we had the issue with the wiki server a while back, and some of the older content had disappeared. VOLTHA docs contained links to some of that content, and there's targets. There's makefile targets. One of them is the link check target. So if you run make link check, you can trigger this, but that target basically goes out and validates that all of the URLs referenced in the documentation are still valid. So when the wiki server pages disappeared, those link checks, and there were a lot of them, started failing. So this ticket was basically going in and repairing all of those URLs. There is a patch in the queue. Again, I've just got to make sure it was reviewed and then merge it in, and that should be taken care of. Upgrade Golang version for VOLTHA. We talked about that with the, was it the GV, the VGC pipelines. That's related. Create a new Jenkins job. That's related to the Docker image and the Golang update. Written to run an XGS only. Oh, this is something here open to assigned to me. I got to look at that one. Update VOLTHA proto versions. I believe this one has been done already. We just got to make sure it's merged and the ticket's closed. Sorry, I'm going to try and skip ahead of the more benign ones so we can get through. So here's one Nikesh had reported. If the OpenOLT adapter crashed during OLT reboot, the parent ID of OLT goes missing from VOLTHA. Is Nikesh on here, or has anybody been working on the ticket?
This one is probably fixed. Let me check if there is issue, if there is an patch tagged to this.
Okay.
5188. Let me check on this.
Okay.
Joy.
Can I sign it to you, Ablash? So
Yeah, you
yeah,
can sign
okay.
it.
Okay.
Actually, here most of the issues here probably are resolved, and
Okay.
a few merges are pending already. So what I'll do is I'll just check in these, and I'll try to get them to resolve state.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's perfect. Let's see, all of these 2.12, these are all release tickets. I'll go through those as well. Periodic VOLTHA failures. Okay, we'll wait for an iteration to clean up the tickets, and then we can follow up on that stuff after, or anything that's left over after. Patches. You see, I'll go through and start doing code reviews on some of these. If anybody has cycles to do code reviews, that would be helpful. Sorry, I'm just getting back up to speed on what we have to work on. Okay. One thing I'll say generally with the release, we have a lot of the problems recorded, captured in tickets and fun stuff like that. If you're aware of any problems that we may not have talked about, if you could just open up a Jira ticket and let me know about it, so we can address the problem and make sure they're taking resolve for VOLTHA for the 2.12 release. Okay, and with that, it looks like Ablash has a. Oh, okay. Well, this is all part of. It looks like Ablash has a series of patches he is requesting reviews on. If you'd like to take the floor.
Thanks, Shui.
Sure.
Here, I have reviewed most of them. A few I have given comments, a few +1. So if others can pitch in and provide your comments or approval. We need these fixes to go in. These are a bit good fixes to have in the release.
Okay.
So I think it's better to have these fixes. And one more thing, this 34392, if we can open, there is some problem with the Helm charts. So I think so Nikesh got in touch with you on this regarding the versions. I think so this needs to be looked. This is on the versions, I think.
Okay.
It's not taking the upgraded version. Not this. 34392, Helm charts 34392.
Okay. Was the version not being picked up for the Helm charts, or was it one of the dependent versions from that were pulled in?
No, once we update the Helm charts, so there is some problem with the versioning. So it says the version already exists and it doesn't allow that version. We need to bump 2 versions up. So I think so you already had mentioned that. in the comments as well.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'll go through and
3439. Yeah.
9-2. Okay, I'll go through and do the reviews too. If anybody has free cycles to help out with the reviews, that would be good too. Is this the is there a difference between this? See both the helm. Oh, open ONU. Okay. Okay.
And also there's the last one, 34825. That also we need to get in. Jan is still there, or Jan will be back?
I'm not if he's on vacation, I'm not sure when Jan will be back.
Because, he has given a -2 on this, and we have addressed all the comments. So we need him.
Okay. Okay.
To check this. Yeah, this is one pending from Jan.
Okay, cool. Review. Let's make it bold. Okay, good. Highlight this one. The start. Yeah, good enough. Are there any other patches you'd like to cover? Other than the ones needing review? Excuse me.
And no, for now, I think so. These are good enough.
Okay, good. With that, I guess the floor is open. If anybody has anything they'd like to add or specific to discuss about the release or any of that fun stuff.
Hi, everyone. This is Timon. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Like all of us, or probably, coming back up to speed. This is the first day back, but I just wanted to give a call out, I guess, that I suspect most of you saw that, there was a major announcement with ONF and with Linux Foundation towards the end of last year. I don't think that we've had an opportunity to have a TST call since then. And I guess if any of you missed it, I mean, the general, the overall notion is that ONF and all of ONF's projects are going to merge into the Linux Foundation, and the goal is to have this, up and running by February 1st. So over the next month, it's going to be sort of a big transition taking place. The overall goal for the VOLTHA project is for this to be as minimally disruptive as possible. And that's true for all the projects. So each of the technical projects, the plan is for it to continue to operate as it operates today. The TST still has the role that it has, and the TST formations don't change at all. The biggest practical change is that each of the three major project areas at ONF, and that's VOLTHA and broadband, is one. The P4 and SDN programmable projects, and that includes P4 and ONOS and Stratum and related projects, SD Fabric. That's two. And then the third is the mobile and 5G space, and that's Ether and SD Core, SD RAN, and related projects is sort of the third major group. These three major groups are really being split out to each be independently governed and run, and each is forming a new governing board that will be guiding the work. In the case of broadband, there's the existing broadband board under ONF, and so that's going to look very similar going into the kind of the new mode under LF. And so, to a large degree, to quite a substantial degree, the expectation is that this is a smooth transition for the projects, but we need to all be aware of it, and it definitely is a change for the projects. And the boards are each going to have their own budget and have quite a bit more authority, kind of guiding the projects moving forward. And I'll end and then open it for any kind of questions. But all of the individuals at ONF are going to remain involved in various capacities. I mean, Joey is going to be involved. All the infra people are moving to Linux Foundation. Michelle, who runs member operations and project operations, is moving to Linux Foundation, and will continue to be available to support and work on the projects. So I just wanted to keep this brief. There's going to be kind of a longer webinar. I think it's on January 9th. And if you hit our website, you should pretty easily be able to find a link where you can register your interest. We're going to get a registration out for that webinar shortly, and hopefully we'll be getting all questions answered. But any questions at this time that I can help? Okay, good. Well, I hope that's a positive sign that the information got out there, and that the what we've published and the FAQ that's out there is answering questions, and that there isn't a lot of uncertainty or confusion about what's going on. But if questions come up, please feel free to let us know. Ping me, and I would say, especially if problems come up, like if the transition's not going smoothly, that's something we want to hear about right away. So feel free to escalate if you see anything like that taking place. Okay. Thank you. Back to you, Joy.
Okay. Let me just update these notes here. Okay, so just to recap, we've got the release, or we've frozen for the 2.12 release starting today. I'm going to go through the backlog of tickets and patches and problems, review what I can, close what I can for tickets. Abalash said he would review the open tickets for 2.12 that may have been resolved already but are still open. And we've got more patches to review. And Timon made the announcement. Timon made the announcement about ONF merging with the Linux Foundation. And if any questions come up around that, feel free to bring them up. And with that, we'll make a last call. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add or cover for the TST meeting this week? Okay, I guess with that, we can give you back, what is it, 30 minutes back for your day. Okay, well, thanks for joining, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks, Joy. Bye, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.